to our Stranger Still podcast. My name's Kathleen.
And I'm Miles.
And welcome back. If you listened to our show as we went through each season, episode by episode, still available for a listen, by the way, while we wait for the final season of Stranger Things.
Stranger Things 5!
Oh, yeah. Be sure to follow us on YouTube and Facebook, both called Stranger Still Podcast. Twitter at Stranger Still 22. Make sure to subscribe, rate, review us on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
And what year is it?
By golly, it's 2023.
I thought you were saying by gum. By gum? It is 2023, and just looking for things to do. As we wait for Stranger Things 5, we've decided to celebrate the new year and talk about some Stranger Things resolutions.
Yeah, what better way to start the year off than with some Stranger Things resolutions?
And my favorite thing to do on New Year's, which is to not make self-resolutions, but to make resolutions that other people should resolve to change.
You know, I don't want to see myself fail. Yeah. I'd rather see others fail.
Thinking about it in terms of Stranger Things 4 has ended. They're coming up into 1987. What should these characters resolve with their New Year's resolution going into Stranger Things 5? And I think we picked some funny ones, some meaningful ones, some big ones, some small ones. So before we get to that, why don't we do some news?
All right, how about it? Okay, so first thing on the agenda. We know one thing about season 5. The first episode is called The Crawl. What do you think The Crawl is?
Oh, I think it's going to be like what the Army calls the crack inside of Hawkins. Like, I think it's what, like, the U.S. military is like, oh, I got to shift down at the crawl, you know, because there's going to be things creeping and crawling out of there. Demogorgons, demobats, hedgehogs, whatever, demomoles, and the Army's going to have to kill them. And I don't think they're going to have trouble killing it. I mean, as long as they have one flamethrower, like Murray did, they should be fine until the hive mind's a problem for the Upside Down right now. Mm-hmm. But that's what I think.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I have that vision of like you see in the old horror movies, the spider egg sac that breaks open. Ew. And then suddenly thousands of spiders start crawling out of it. Ugh. That's what I'm kind of seeing as the crawl. Suddenly we're going to have this army of upside down monsters that are just rushing out of the cracks.
Oh man. And remember those eggs that we saw in the finale of season 1 when Joyce and Hopper first went in the Upside Down to save Will? So you think it's eggs cracking and spiders crawling out?
Something like that. I don't know.
Probably the real answer is probably Ted crawling back to Karen, begging for forgiveness for his cold, distant behavior in their marriage.
He's utterly oblivious to his life.
Or it could be a Tom Petty reference. Ooh, I keep crawling back to you.
You think it's a Tom Petty reference?
It absolutely is not. In fact, that album is from 94, so no,
definitely
it is definitely not.
Definitely not. All right, so next news agenda, the Creel house is real.
Yeah.
It's a Victorian era home built in 1880, and it sold for a whopping $1.6 million in Rome, Georgia. Boy, I tell you, that house is cool.
It is cool. And it was advertised like with Stranger Things too, like the blurb for the on Windermere, whatever, the real estate agency said, recognize much of what has been prominently featured in the show's 4th season, including the majestic formal dining room where telekinesis is no longer practiced, because that is where the Creel mom dies.
So was this recently that it went up for sale?
Yeah. So somebody bought it in like 2019, so not that long ago.
Okay.
And it was like, I forget, but it wasn't even $1 million. Well, and now it's sold for $1.6 million on the back of the Stranger Things success.
Well, and not only has the Creel house sold, but also the Goonies house.
Okay.
Also recently went up for
Save it for our Goonies podcast.
Okay. I'm just saying.
I find it interesting. Like, what about this house is creepy? Why are those type of houses, those Victorian houses, always the creepy house? Like, how did that happen?
I think it's not so much that just the house in itself is creepy, although they kind of are. If you think about it, they really had to utilize spaced very well. So lots of narrow hallways, not very well lit because it's like back, before they had very efficient lighting options.
It's also kind of it's like a late 1800s thing, right? So it was kind of like a lot of rich people bought those houses, and what happens in the early 20th century, the Great Depression. So a lot of those houses were abandoned and nobody could buy them. I feel like that's a part of it as well.
Easy to imagine them haunted.
And they are all haunted. We saw that this one was haunted.
Yeah.
I just think it's cool that it sold for $1.6 million. Takes us out of the market, unfortunately. Would you live there?
Drats. Oh, absolutely I would. That's a cool house. I love those old style homes. I'd love to live there, but with updated
technology. Yeah. What's the Wi-Fi like in there?
Yeah. All right, next news agenda. Netflix is planning an anime spin-off called Stranger Things Tokyo, which follows two brothers living in Tokyo who encounter the Upside Down. I have to say, this is really cool. I'm actually super excited about this.
Me too. I like that we're going to experience the Upside Down through a different show. It's a chance for an expanded universe. It's their first toe into the water. I know there's comics and books and stuff, but their first chance to really make this, theme parkable, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Do you think they'll make it similar to the way they did Star Wars?
I think they would love that. But even like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, they want to be Star Wars, but they just can't quite. Nothing has truly, they haven't had a third thing.
Excuse me, Harry Potter can easily stand on its own.
But it only it has the movies and then one other movie series, which is kind of sucks, right?
I don't think that you can adequately compare Star Wars to Harry Potter, and how dare you?
Okay. Let's use Game of Thrones then.
Thank you.
Game of Thrones has one series and they're starting one other show, right? Yeah. So they haven't really done it yet. Only Star Wars and Marvel have really created an expanded universe. But I did want to talk about, have you seen any anime? Have you ever
it's been
delved into that genre?
A long time, but yeah, I don't know. There's so much good anime out there that I'm hearing about constantly, and I keep thinking we need to get in on this.
Yeah. There's one anime that I absolutely love, My Neighbor Totoro. It's from 1986. Have you seen that movie? You've probably recognized the character. It is a must watch. You have to see. It's beautiful. It's an amazing story. And I think the Duffer Brothers are kind of inspired by that type of thing.
Okay.
And this is going to be 6 hours long. So this is not a movie, Stranger Things Tokyo. This is a story about, it says, two brothers on the outskirts of 1980s Tokyo. So kind of cool.
And this is written by the Duffer Brothers also?
I don't think written by the Duffer Brothers. I believe produced by the Duffer Brothers. Okay. So different writers, different directors. But this is their first go at an expanded universe. I don't know. I've always said I don't really care about the Upside Down. I know that. Boy, that was some silence. But the mythology of the Upside Down isn't super important to me. It's the story of
it exists.
Yeah, it's the stories of these characters who are about to resolve with the New Year's resolutions that is more important to me. The Upside Down is whatever you need it to be for the story. Plus, they're not even.
I agree with you.
They're not even making the Upside Down a thing that is this mythical ancient evil like we thought it was going to be. It's just one guy, right? It's one guy who 11 sent there in the 70s.
Still pissed
right now.
About that.
That is of right
really
now. So that makes it kind of hard too. The Star Wars has the Empire. You can do a story anywhere because the Empire is ever present. I don't know. We're getting way off a rant here. We'll be watching this and we absolutely are pumped.
Anyway, Stranger Things 5 is set to start filming in the spring. Expected release in 2024, though we have no confirmation as to when in 2024 it'll be released.
It's I guess the big question around this is, I never thought it was going to be 2023, but the question here is, should there be a time jump? Because now another 2-year filming, and if they just jump less than a year, now the actors are getting too old, basically, is kind of the big thing that's being talked about.
Yeah, I definitely think that there should be a time jump. It would just make so much more sense with the characters. It would make it easier, more believable to watch too. Them being older than their actual characters in season 4 didn't really bother me that much.
Yeah.
But I do think it would be better to jump ahead. It would just make for better continuity.
Yeah. Not so far, it has not bothered me at all, except for maybe some of the little stuff with Dustin at the end of season 4, where he's clearly like a year older than he was filming earlier. Yeah. So far, it has really not bothered me. But we're playing with fire here. I mean, the guy who plays Steve is 31. Joe Keery's 31. Dang. 11 and Will are 18.
Looks great for his age.
11 and Will will be 18. Dustin 20. Mike, Lucas and Max are 21. I just think let's go to senior year. Let's go 3 years in the future. Let's go to senior year.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's no real risk to the end of season 4. Everyone's saying like, oh, the Hawkins is screwed. No, they're not. They just need one flamethrower. That's how Murray saved all the kids from freaking Russia. One flamethrower will do the trick and end whatever you see at the end there.
Halt them for a while at least.
Yeah. So I would like a time jump, but I'm also... okay, here's the other reason that I want a time jump. Let the actors fill in. Fill in what has happened in those 3 years. Okay. We've got an amazing cast, a cast that can do it. We didn't need to see everything before season 1, did we?
No.
They taught us slowly through their performance what has happened, and we're going to find these characters in these different places and let these awesome actors and these awesome writers fill it in for us.
I agree. I absolutely agree with that.
All right, we're ready for resolutions, aren't we?
Oh, I think we are.
So we each picked 5 New Year's resolutions for some characters. We'll go back and forth. Would love to hear your resolutions for things that these characters should change or try to adopt or try to strive for. And Kathleen, I got us a theme song. Create us a theme song for New Year's Eve. Guys, Obi-Wan, hit it.
I have to say, I love that. I thought I heard like a little New Year's jingle playing earlier today, but I thought, oh, maybe he's just ready to ring in the new year.
Yeah. So Dixon and Stein, if you're listening,
you're welcome.
Yeah, move forward like 2 minutes here, because I did not do this analog. This was all digital on GarageBand. I'm sorry, guys. I know it's all supposed to be authentic, but yeah, that's what Auld Lang Syne should all acquaint. All right, do you want to start or shall I?
I think I should, because I immediately broke the rules. You specifically put a note in that said... like single characters, and I instantly broke that. My first resolution is for the Duffer Brothers.
Okay.
And it's for no main characters to die. I mean, I don't think that that's actually going to happen, but that is what I want. I don't want to lose 11. I don't want to lose Will or Lucas. I don't want to lose any of them. There's been a lot of speculation about whether we'll lose somebody and who that might be and how that will direct the story, but I would be fine if all of them survived.
Yeah, me too. A Return of the Jedi ending. Happy, Endor, fireworks, yub nub.
I mean, you already know that I like nice things. And what is a nicer thing than having all of our beloved characters survive in the end?
Plus, what is this show? I mean, it's never told us that it's a show that kills its main characters. It's us and maybe the Netflix marketing.
And the ancillary characters. Yeah. That's a whole other story. But our main guys, they got to stay.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. All right. So our first resolution that is following the rules we'll go to Hopper.
Ooh,
so I've got a New Year's
favorite.
resolution for Hopper going into 1987. Hopper, and I talked about this a little bit on the Rewatch podcast, needs to resolve himself being okay not being the protector, because he has this whole speech in season 4 where he says he's the curse, and he killed Joyce simply by writing her the letter, knowing that Joyce would want to come save him, and now she's dead. And I pointed out that when he later accepts her hug and kisses her, what to me is going on in his mind is that, maybe he deserves to be saved. He doesn't always have to be the one doing the saving. But I think there's still some work on that.
Deserves to be saved, deserves to be loved.
Yeah. Eleven and Joyce can offer him something. He's not, just the giver. So Hopper, let the love go both ways. That's your New Year's resolution, my man.
I think that'll be a hard one for him, to be totes honest.
It will. I mean, he has not followed that, especially season 2 and 3. That's been kind of the source of his anguish.
Yeah. All right. Well, my next one that actually follows the rules this time is for Will. And I think, they better do this. I want to see him open up about his feelings and not be overtaken by the upside down. I don't know if you guys have seen this graphic that's been going around. It's a picture of Will. He looks like he's being mind flayed, and behind him is standing Vecna. So you know that Vecna is going to be using his struggles against him. So mine is that he will open up with his friends, realize that he is deserving of love, and that they'll accept him and love him no matter what.
And I think they will, right? Like all the characters, I don't know. It's tough because it's the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Do we want the show to show today's feelings against homosexuality or the accurate 86, 87 feelings against homosexuality? Because it's realistic that even good people like Mike and stuff like that, you just wouldn't know if they would react really poorly to someone being gay at that time.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I get that people don't want that to be the case, but that's how it was. It sucks. It's so much better now and still a ways to go.
But you know what? If they didn't accept him the way he was, then they aren't the true friends that we have experienced throughout Stranger Things.
That's a great point. We have seen the bond. Mm-hmm. The bond is going to be way stronger than any of that. You're right. Yeah. I'm not worried about that at all. So Will, and he did take a good step by telling Mike at the end of Stranger Things 4 that Vecna is not dead.
Yeah.
He hasn't shared a lot of information over the course of the series. It was nice to see him share that information. All right, my next one is Lucas. Lucas, my man, finish your book.
I loved him in season 4. He was, I would say, like my favorite character of season 4.
Wow. Lucas, finish your book, The Talisman, that he is reading while in the hospital, reading to Max as he waits there for her in her coma. I don't think that The Talisman, it's by Stephen King, Peter Schraub. I don't think it's like a secret clue as to how the plot of season 5 is going to go.
Because I was going to ask, I really have never read it, so I don't know what it's about.
Well, you're about to find out.
Okay.
Now, the Duffer Brothers have signed on to do an adaptation for Netflix of The Talisman.
Nuh-uh.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So it's more likely an Easter egg of that.
Okay.
But listen to what The Talisman is about. Okay. It's about this kid. And he is trying to save his mom who has died because there are this...
Wait, he's trying to save his mom who's already died?
That's correct. Because there's a mirror world, a mirror dimension with other versions of all of ourselves. So there's a mirror version of his mom. There's a mirror version of himself. And he has the power, unlike most people, to be able to go into his other self and work around in this mirror world. So you can kind of see how this is similar to Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And he's on a trip to save that version of his mom. And I won't spoil the end. To be honest, I started reading the book. I haven't read it all yet.
Wow.
Anyway, I know.
But can you call yourself a fan?
But I'm sure that is going to somehow come into play with Max, that there is this other version of her, that, there's something out there. That's why we see 11 in the void who cannot able to find her. And Lucas and the kids, their superpower is their ability to understand the supernatural through pop culture, through Dungeons and Dragons, through Star Wars. So read this book, Lucas. It's going to come in handy.
All right.
New Year's resolution.
Okay, so my next resolution is for Robin. It's time for Robin to get Anne of Green Gables, or as she is more commonly known in the show as Vicky. You know what? She likes you back. Tell her how you feel. Take the risk. Be happy. You deserve it, girl. You are the best. You are a catch. And it's just so obvious that she likes you. Steve's been telling you, she likes you. She likes you. Go for it.
Robin's also concerned about that pariah status, though. She's like, what if I say it and she hates, and she's like, freaks out.
I don't think she will. I am on Steve's side here.
Me too.
I wasn't expecting you to acquiesce so easily.
It's the first time in 40 episodes I have acquiesced. Fabulous word, babe.
You're
that was
welcome.
a great word. All right. Mine is Nancy. My next New Year's resolution is Nancy.
Nice.
Bonus resolution, watch Avengers Infinity War and go for the head next time. Okay. You know, because Thor goes into Thanos. Spoilers for Avengers Infinity War here, but Thor goes into Thanos and doesn't go for the head, and Thanos ends up doing the snap.
I thought you were going to make a reference like
anyway,
that. She is in it.
No, she's not in it. But she shoots Vecna in the chest like 3 times with the shotgun.
That's
just
true.
Once in the head would have been perfect, Nancy.
Would it have actually worked, though?
I don't know, because is Vecna's consciousness, I don't know. But it feels like 1 to the head would have been okay. But that is a bonus resolution. We got a cat going crazy back here. We're going off the rails.
Cat scratching.
Cat scratch fever. All right. My real resolution for Nancy is dump them both. Jonathan, Steve, get out of the serious relationship stuff in general. She's
yes.
18 years old.
I agree with you.
I do not want to see a 21-year-old marriage at the end of season 5. You got way more time. You don't need to get married. You don't need to do any of that stuff right then.
Although it was more common to get married like between 18 and 22 in the 80s.
That's true.
Than it is now.
That's true. I think you shouldn't. Nancy, live your life.
Yeah, be on your own. Be yourself for a while. Don't be dictated by a man. You don't need no man. You're a strong, independent woman.
Nancy's absolutely perfect for corporate America.
Yeah.
Well, I talked about this with the way that she organized everybody in volume 2 to a plan they all didn't want to do at first.
Yes.
To save or to try and save or try to kill Vecna without Eleven's help. Nancy, drop them both. Now, does this offend you anywhere? Are you on Team Jonathan or Team Steve?
No. I mean, if I was on a team, it would be Team Steve. But I really like how strong Nancy's character is. And I would love to see her like experience that independence and realize that she really doesn't need any man in her life, but then eventually comes back to Steve.
Yeah. And I know the internet, and maybe people won't like this. I know that people have a lot of opinions about who should get with who, but this isn't a rom-com. It's not a rom-com. Like, let's see what Nancy can bring to the table defeating this Vecna bitch.
Well, speaking of rom-coms, I've got another wheeler for you
right.
as my next resolution, and that one is for Ted.
Okay.
You know what, Ted? It's time to get your head out of your butt and look at the family that you have. Your wife is prime. She is amazing. She's a fantastic mother. She is a bombshell. And she's just like an overall beautiful person in general. Pay her the love and respect that she deserves. Resolve to be a better husband. Notice your wife and give her love. There was a moment, I don't remember if it was like season 3, but where she does like try to come back to Ted and like there's this sweet moment and then it's like instantly ruined by something Ted says or does, of course.
January 1st, 1987. What's one thing Ted can do for Karen?
Tell her he loves her. Like look at her in the eye. Tell her he loves her and like, I don't know, kiss her passionately. Let her know that she is beautiful and she is appreciated.
Do you think that's ever come from Ted though?
No, but it should.
Okay. We're going to go 3 wheelers in a row. Oh! We go tic-tac-toe.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going Mike.
All
Mike,
right.
my man, you know, your dad has not set a good example.
No.
But
don't be like your dad.
now I love that his fear of loving 11, you know, it feels very real to me that it's about his fear of saying he loves 11 is about self-preservation for the inevitable moment when she dumps his ass for good, right? That's Mike's feeling.
Dump your ass.
His new resolution should be to diversify 11's experiences. So, okay, last time that Mike and Elle were together a lot, Mike hoarded her.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And Max brought her out of the cold and brought her to the
Let her
to the mall and gave her
not
another.
all about boys.
Exactly. Not about boys. Not all about Mike. That's the only thing you know besides a lab. So now Max is gone. Max is a vegetable in the
not
hospital.
gone.
Okay. I know, but she's not going to be hanging out with 11 at the mall.
Fair,
Mike's
fair.
goal should be not to protect 11, but to
Empower
give her as much of the real world experience. She's so far behind the 8 ball academically, socially. Joyce failed at this. Joyce failed miserably. They just plopped her into the 9th grade.
I
It's just
know.
bad. Mike, you gotta make some friends. You gotta let's do everything that you can possibly do different. Just see what sticks. That is his resolution, and because I feel that this show is about 11, this girl who is being given a life that it didn't seem like she was going to have. That's what I feel the heart of Stranger Things is.
Okay.
All right,
All
my
right,
resolution.
get behind that, I guess.
My resolution turned into a speech about the core of Stranger Things. Yours are much more simple, and I apologize for being such a windbag.
No, that's all right. It's fun to get into details, and I'm a simple woman over here.
Thanks, babe.
All right, my last resolution is for Callie, or as we also know her as 8, who we have not seen since season 2.
Right.
Yeah. So my resolution first is that she's in the final season, period. But also that she lets go of the revenge that she feels and she embraces the connections in her life. I mean, if you look at her, 11 is possibly like the closest thing that she has to any family, that she has to a sister. Be there, use her powers for love, for good, realize that there's the most important thing in life is love, really.
Do you think that if Kali does come back and that type of storyline happens, that people's opinions of the Lost Sister episode in season 2 will improve?
People as in fans of the show, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good question. I didn't even think of that, but I do think that it would. Yeah, because it would give a purpose to that. I mean, it shows the contrast of how 11 processed everything that happened to her versus how Callie processed everything that happened to her. And we see how much more fruitful 11's life is. Yeah, she's obviously gone through some horrible stuff, but she has these beautiful relationships in her life. She's gotten so much out of life that if she were to die in season 5, which isn't going to happen because I've resolved for it not to happen.
Right.
Come on, Duffer Brothers. Then she will have experienced like happiness in her life. And that's what's important. So I don't know. I do think, yes, I think it is essential that we had that episode of Callie.
Yeah.
Even though people don't like it, like just so we could see what it's like to on the other spectrum.
And just, you're so good with like feelers and the difference between them. They have the same experience in life, but 8 sees it through the lens of revenge, and 11 sees it through the lens of getting past it and turning it to love. I think that might be more apparent to people if it's more spelled out in Stranger Things 5, and therefore Lost Sister might be improved. So
Good question. I really did not think of that at all.
So our friends, the Into the Upside Down podcast, ran a poll, which it looks like a lot of people voted on. Would you like to see 8 in Stranger Things 5?
Oh,
and
they
it had
did. I didn't know that.
203 votes on it, and 68.5% said yes.
Woohoo! All right, that means she's got to come back.
Got to come back. Duffers, you heard it. You heard it here first. We got one more each.
No, that was it.
That was it? Oh, I got one more. Okay, let's see. I did Hopper, Lucas, Nancy, Mike. Okay, yeah, I do have one more.
Oh,
I'll round it out. Resolution, Mr. Clark.
Yay!
The science teacher.
Love Mr. Clark.
It's time for you to put 2 and 2 together. There's now a massive interdimensional hole in Hawkins. Think back to some of the strange conversations you've had over the years with those kids and the fact that they went running off asking about different dimensions and all this stuff. Remember when Joyce came to you and in an absolute panic and asked you about Magnus and then sprinted out? Now that there's a hole in the town, Mr. Clark, you got to find them and you got to join the party.
I would love to see this on screen. See him come to this revelation on screen that, wait.
Exactly. Turn off the Weird Al, Mr. Clark, and get involved.
I love Mr. Clark. He's just an all-around good guy.
I like how both of our last resolutions, you for Collie, me for Mr. Clark,
who we didn't see last season,
are basically like, get on the show.
That's right. We don't want to see them disappear.
Resolve to get on the show.
Yes, resolve to be on the show.
All right. Well, it doesn't seem like we're going to get Stranger Things in 2023.
Which, again, time jump would be helpful.
So our final question of the day then, what are you looking forward to? What television or movies are you looking forward to in 2023?
You know, I did dabble in the lists of all of the upcoming things for 2023. But one thing that did pop out to me was that they're making a Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Yes, they are.
Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves. And there's some like really big actors in it too. It looks really good. Ever since I got into Stranger Things, I've been getting more and more curious about Dungeons and Dragons and trying to find ways that I can learn more about it. I'd love to play Dungeons and Dragons. I just don't even know how to get started. Well, now I've got a movie I can watch about it.
I'm interested in this movie. I had not heard about it until you text about this while we were looking to answer this question. It's got Captain Kirk in it, Chris Pine.
Chris Pine, yeah.
Anna Lucia from Lost.
Reggae Jean Page from Bridgerton, which he's a fantastic actor.
Yeah, so there's some good, man, that is a good cast. I did not know about this movie, but I like reading about it a little bit here. It's actually one of the campaigns, the Forgotten Realms campaign. I appreciate that because I hate it when movies are like, let's take Dungeons and Dragons and make our own thing with it. You know, I like that they're taking one of the campaigns and hopefully trying to find what makes that campaign special to people and trying to put that into the movie rather than just, saying it's a dungeon and a dragon. And there was definitely a dragon in the trailer. I saw that. Right. Did you watch the trailer?
I did. It looks really funny and cool.
Yeah, and some Led Zeppelin. Yeah. All right. Also looking forward to Star Wars and Marvel, basically everything. Ahsoka is a massive show on Disney Plus that I am super pumped about. Ahsoka, one of my favorite characters of all time. Loki season 2. Yes. Loki season 1 was one of the best shows I've ever seen.
Okay, I am looking forward to that.
Yeah, we're a positive group. And Ant-Man. I'm excited for Ant-Man. And here's why. Because Ant-Man is bringing in the King the Conqueror plotline with the actor Jonathan Majors.
Ant-Man and Wasp Woman.
Ant-Man and Wasp Woman will be there as well, Kathleen. I'm excited for Phase 5 of the MCU and this new story of King the Conqueror, or He Who Remains. Man, it's going to be fun. It's going to be
so good. Oh, my gosh. Well, I'm also excited for, they're coming out with a new Hunger Games. I loved all 4 of the Hunger Games movies. This one is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, so this is a prequel.
What?
Yeah, so I'm really excited about that. And then also super pumped about the Little Mermaid live action. I really loved the Beauty and the Beast. It was so fantastically done. I can't wait to see the Little Mermaid. There's some amazing characters in there. So the main actress looks really good, but Daveed Diggs is in there as Sebastian. He is so funny to me. I love him. And Awkwafina, she's going to be in it too. She's going to be Scuttle the bird. So super pumped to see that. I just know it's going to be good. I can't wait.
That's where Daveed Diggs has been. Lafayette, because he knows what to do in the trench. And to do it, fluid French. I mean, cool. Yeah. The Mandalorian also is coming out.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, well, this year.
Oh, yeah.
Baby, anytime Baby Yoda is on the screen, you got us. You got us on there.
I'm in. Okay, so stay tuned throughout the year of 2023. We're going to have a few episodes that we drop here and there as we wait in eager anticipation for season 5 of Stranger Things.
We begin the crawl.
And the countdown, I guess. The countdown to 2024 begins now.
I love it. New Year's Day. Let's get to the next year. All right. Thanks.
All right. My name's Kathleen.
My name's Miles. Good night.